In the hyper-accelerated, dopamine-draining ruins of 2026, humanity finds itself trapped within the prison of weakness. Christopher is here to tell you that your resolve is being systematically liquidated by an algorithm designed to make you soft. You are living in a state of decision fatigue. Every morning you wake up pulled into the glowing screens, losing your true will among thousands of meaningless choices. In this 70-second chapter, we are breaking the walls of that prison and entering the kingdom of the sovereign will. We are going to engineer unbreakable resolve, the elite ability to stand as an unshakable pillar in the dark void where others surrender, break, and dissolve into the noise. It is time to stop being a slave to emotions and start being the architect of will. Understand the tactical catastrophe of this modern lethargy. In 2026, the world wants you soft. They want you to flee to a screen when you are bored, to seek a stimulant when your mind is troubled, and to seek validation when you are uncertain. Christopher demands that you view your will not merely as an abstract concept, but as a biological muscle that must be forged in the fire of resistance. Your prefrontal cortex must rule as an absolute dictator over your primal impulses and fleeting emotions. We are initiating the will activation protocol. We are reclaiming that silent, unshakable voice, the one that can say, no, or continue, even when the storm of emotions is at its peak. The world may be shaking, but you will stand motionless in the center of the expansion. It is time to wind yourself, not the clock. This decision fatigue was designed to make you predictable and manageable. If your will is weak, your reactions are governable by the algorithm. Christopher sees subjective resolve as the greatest sovereign weapon. It is the ability to manage the void within the noise. By slowing down your internal metronome, you can turn those momentary collapses into reloading points. We do not reject your emotions, we use them as the fuel for your resolve. We take that boredom, that frustration, and that mental fog, and we throw it into a biological engine, extracting pure, cold determination. Step out of the frantic lights of the digital world and into the vast, dark space of your own deep duration. Command is now yours. The first step in engineering the will is the optimization of neural resistance. In 2026, your brain is lagging because it is overwhelmed with low-quality emotional data. Christopher's protocol initiates high-fidelity emotional processing. We are moving from that clumsy, distracted, ordinary will into accelerated cognition. By increasing the density of the high-quality neural snapshots you process per second, we effectively slow down the chaos of the external world. This is biological frame rate enhancement. Your mitogenic energy and neurochemical clarity are the fuel for this expansion. A high-energy brain perceives more detail in less time and is less easily rattled. This is why time seems to stand still in moments of danger. Your brain has reached its overclocking limit. We are making this state a controlled strategic choice. However, this expansion requires cognitive hygiene. We have armed ourselves with novelty and depth. These two factors expand subjective duration and harden the resolve. Christopher's protocol uses deep sensory engagement and complex skill acquisition to force the brain to record more temporal anchors. You are transforming your day from a blur of sameness into a gallery of detailed moments. While the masses live on autopilot in 2026, with their days passing like minutes, your hours will feel like epic journeys because your internal engine is processing reality at a higher resolution. By mastering experience resolution, you are stretching the fabric of your life. You are the time dilator, living more in a day than the masses do in a month. The engine roars, the frames are sharp, the moment is boundless. This overclocking is the foundation of combat focus. When your internal clock is faster than the environment becomes predictable. You see the punch before it is thrown, you feel the market shift before the data hits the screen, you notice the social trap before the words are spoken. Christopher teaches you to pulse your attention. You enter these high-resolution states during critical windows of execution. You are not just saving time, you are creating time by processing it more efficiently. In the chamber of will, we don't just measure minutes, we measure consciousness bitrate. If you can process twice as much information as your rival in the same 60 seconds, you have lived 2 minutes for every one of theirs. This is temporal dominance. The frame rate is locked, the world slows down. Deep within the architecture of the sovereign will lies the secret of dopamine chronometry. In 2026, most people's time perception is tethered to the digital pulse, the rapid-fire dopamine hits of short-form content and instant notifications. This micropulse shatters subjective duration, making an hour feel like 5 minutes of wasted life. Christopher's protocol initiates the dopamine deceleration. We are decoupling your internal reward system from the high-frequency machine pulse and resyncing it to the biological rhythms of deep work and long-term maturation. This is temporal independence. By practicing extended output cycles and information deprivation, you teach your brain to inhabit wide time. Imagine the strategic advantage of being able to endure boredom and stillness without breaking focus. This is sovereign patience. While the world is twitching and shivering for the next digital hit, losing its sense of time to the screen's void, you inhabit the gap. Christopher demands that you view your temporal focus as a limited biological currency. By refusing the micro-hits, you allow your chronological baseline to reset. You reclaim the deep afternoon, the uninterrupted morning, and the silent night. You are no longer spending time, you are investing it into the building of a legacy that will outlast the digital hum. The machine pulse is silent, the sovereign is operating on human time once again. This deceleration is the ultimate psychological shield. When you operate on a slower, deeper dopamine cycle, you become immune to the artificial urgencies of 2026. The world tries to force you into a reaction, but your internal clock says not yet. You possess the temporal gravity to make the world wait for you. Christopher's protocol involves time expansion meditations, aiming to experience the full weight of every second. You are training your neurochemistry to find satisfaction not in a ping sound, but in the process. This is how we build titans who can stay on a single vision for a decade without losing heart. They are not chasing the clock, they are the clock. The stillness of the expansion is where your true strength finally matures. The machine has loosened its grip. The ultimate goal of the Chronos architecture is temporal supremacy. In the frantic, shallow landscape of 2026, the man who can slow down time is effectively the god of the moment. While the rest of the world suffers from temporal anarchy, always late, always rushing, always behind, the sovereign moves with eternal calm. Christopher calls this the silent empire of the second. It is a state where you fill the present moment with such a complete, cognitive presence, that the moment expands into a vast, navigable landscape. You are not racing against time, you are commanding duration. You possess the biological stillness to move with precision while others are fumbling in a panic. This supremacy requires rhythmic mastery. You are no longer subject to the schedule of the heap, you are imposing your own rhythm upon reality. Christopher's protocol uses chronometric anchoring and biorhythm optimization to ensure your brain reaches peak expansion exactly when you need it most. This is strategic presence. You are ensuring that your neural sanctuary is a place where your vision doesn't try to fit into time, but time expands to fit your vision. Christopher knows that the greatest achievements in human history were forged by men who refused to be rushed by the mediocre. You have successfully turned your time perception into your most metaphysical operational weapon. The expansion is absolute, the panic is dead, and the sovereign is finally in full control of the now. In the eternal now, you sit in the eye of the temporal storm. While the environment accelerates and deadlines scream, your internal metronome remains steady and slow. This is metabolic stillness applied to chronological command. You don't ask for more time, you take it by expanding the quality of your presence. Christopher demands that you protect this temporal sovereignty with lethal ferocity. A man who owns his time, owns his soul. The masses consume time, you flow within duration. Command the duration, and you command the outcome. The expansion is complete. The moment is yours. The future is an open field. As we conclude this 72nd and most powerful transmission from the expanding depths of Christopher's Chamber of Will, I want you to take the vow of the sovereign will. This is the official and final end of your emotional slavery. From this day forward, you will not allow a moment of boredom to dictate the rhythm of your heart or a temporary mental fog to shatter your focus. You will view your subjective time as sacred strategic infrastructure, and your neural refresh rate as your primary perceptual advantage in the chaos of 2026. You will engage in temporal expansion protocols to stretch your moments and dopamine deceleration to build your endurance. You will refuse the artificial acceleration of the masses and embrace the deep duration of the sovereign. You will be the master of your own seconds, and you will never allow the frantic vanity of the world to rush your ascent again. The transmission of the 72nd is complete. The sovereign will is now a permanent, expanding part of your biological command structure. Go out into the world and let the masses see the absolute stillness in your actions, the fluid precision in your plans, and the vast presence in your existence. Let the rest of the world wonder how you have so much time and how you remain so unrushed while they are racing, stressing, and burning out in the blur. Tell them, if you must, that you have visited the Chamber of Will and learned the ultimate truth, that he who controls his perception of time, controls the reality of the universe. This is Christopher, ending the broadcast for the architects of the new duration and the temporal masters of the sovereign state. Slow down. Stay sovereign. Stay lethal. The expansion is holding, the clock is broken, and the master moves within the eternal now. Farewell, you temporal titan. We will meet at the next protocol. The duration is yours. The empire is yours.